What is up, guys? We are live action. I'm so excited to be talking to you guys today because we're talking about Shador Sanders and his amazingness this weekend, how he stepped up for himself and how you guys can step up for yourselves. Because for some of you, you feel like you've messed up so terribly. You failed some classes, you've messed up and bombed the MCAT, right? You haven't accomplished nearly enough to apply to medical school, and you're wondering, can I ever come back? Well, Shador Sanders is a lesson to all you guys that no matter what happens, right? Because he spiraled and went terrible, but he was able to step up, do well in his first preseason game, and everything's back on track. And so, what I want you guys to do is learn from this football experience that you guys can take and apply this. And I know that football's not pre-med, but as pre-meds, we can learn from all things around us. And by doing that, guys, we magnify, we escalate, we get better so much faster by learning from what's around us. And so we're going to get right into this. I'm going to hit the intro. I want you guys, if you are ready, right? Like if you've been making mistakes and you're ready to stage that comeback, to become the ultimate comeback story and start to change the trajectory of your career, I want you to comment me right now in the box so I know you're ready to learn, ready to get better. Let's hit the intro. Let's get right to it.
Today is the day, guys. You're going to take your future into your own hands. You're going to dominate. You're going to be successful. No excuses, just dominate.
All right, guys, Dr. Andre Pinesett, the pre-med protein expert. And as always, I'm here to bring you guys productivity and positivity. And today we're talking about Shador Sanders overcoming what was a horrific, terrible, catastrophic pre-draft process to have a strong, decent, good, all right first preseason game and really change the narrative around his play. And I want you guys to be able to do the same with whatever you guys are going through as pre-meds. And so we're going to get right into it and get you guys better. You guys ready to get better today? I think we're ready to get better. So the first thing I want you guys to understand is that as we make mistakes, right, and we're trying to stage a comeback, we have to make sure that, yes, we made a huge mistake. We got poop on our face, but we're not going to compound that problem by spreading it everywhere. We're going to nip it in the bud, and we are going to get at it and be active in rectifying what was happening. And talking about this and this happening is really meaningful to me and personal to me because, as you guys may know, I was the struggling pre-med who had done horrific, can never come back from irreparable damage to my resume, to my status as a pre-med, because I flunked and failed and struggled and floundered in all of the weed out classes that everyone talks about, right? Those first year courses. And by the end of my freshman year, I was told by my counselor that I would never get into medical school and that I probably wouldn't even graduate from college. And so to hear that and to have experienced that and have someone tell you directly to their face, the professional, right? I was a first generation college student. I had no idea what it took to get to medical school. I was trying my best, but to have the person assigned to help me tell me, hey, you're a lost cause. I've given up on you. You need to move on, do something different. It was truly, truly devastating to me. And so I was in the depths of thinking I had flamed my career and could never come back and get into medical school. But I was able to turn it all around, get into Stanford Medical School, become an anesthesiologist, and now that's why I've been so committed to giving back to students and helping them make that same transition. And so as we talk about Shador Sanders, it is a quick but a serious kind of turnaround for him because going into the pre-draft process, his dad is Deion Sanders, y'all. And if you guys don't, you guys might be too young for this, but when I was a kid growing up, we wanted the Deion shoes. We wanted to be like Neon Deion with the shovel. Like, it was everything because he was so flashy and he was so incredible because he played professional football, professional baseball. He had the commercials, he had the chains. He was sweet. He had all that swag and amazingness, and he truly was a legend. And so he became the coach now for his son in college, coaching at Colorado, has completely revamped, brought all this energy to this Colorado, got all this money, all these players. It's been incredible. And his son was the quarterback there, and they did fairly well with a not so good team. And so going to the draft process, people are like, he might go first round, he might go later. We have to see. And he took the pre-draft process, Shador did, as a joke. And he went into that process with too much of that bravado and that, oh, I don't need this. And so he refused to meet with a bunch of teams. And as you guys know, right, in all these processes, medical schools want to meet you, they want to interview you. It's the same way with the NFL. They want to meet with you, interview you, see who you are, see if they vibe with you. And so he refused to meet with a bunch of teams. And the teams he did meet with, he showed up unprepared and looking disinterested. This is a quote from what people were saying about him in these meetings. And you can imagine, you got millions of dollars on the line, you show up to a meeting unprepared. You show up to a meeting looking what they could interpret as disinterested. Shoot, if I'm in line for $1 million, I'm in there. I can't wait to be here. I love to be here. So excited. Oh my gosh, help me, right? All of these things because it matters to me. So you have to show that. And so he did the opposite of that. He had a terrible pre-draft process, on draft night, he had this whole legendary campaign. I'm a legend. It's like, you haven't even played a snap yet. You can't be a legend. And so it came off kind of over the top. And then so he slides in the draft from potential first round, second round. Oh my gosh, he didn't go in the first 2 rounds. This is crazy. He ended up getting drafted in the 5th round, guys, which is super, super late for a player of his stature and profile. And everyone was like, yep, it's because he doesn't know what he's doing and he's terrible. He's washed up. They're going to cut him. They draft another quarterback for him. And then he gets into camp, right? Now his life's on the line. He's been drafted. He's got to prove himself on the field. And what does he do? He gets not 1, but 2 excessive speeding tickets where he was doing 91 in one ticket and 101 in another ticket in a 65-mile-per-hour speed limit zone. 2 tickets in just a few weeks during training camp, knowing everybody's looking at you. It's like the cherry on the sundae of crap that he put together for the draft process. And it was making everyone feel like, oh no, he's done. I'm off of him. He's out of here. One of my favorite people I listened to, Colin Cowherd on the radio, was like, nah, I'm out. I'm selling all my Shador Sanders stock. He's not going to make it, and all these things. And now you fast forward, right? And things have kind of changed. And he was prepared for his first preseason game when he got called in. But it was an example, guys, of when you guys have something happen to you. Maybe you failed an Orgo midterm, right? The equivalent, right? The doubling down is that you do terrible on this. Instead of fixing it and rectifying it, which he should have done, he doubled down, got speeding tickets, all those kind of things. It's the same way for you guys as students. You failed at Orgo midterm. Instead of facing it and owning up to it, what do? You vanish from office hours. You stop talking to your friends. You don't want to show them you don't know what's up, right? You stop emailing the TA. You don't, you start building up all these things in your mind about how things are unfair and, oh my gosh, they're against me. I can't come back from this. And you tell yourself, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth putting my effort in. I'll just retake it next term. And it's terrible because instead of fixing the original mistake, you compound it. And it's not the original thing that messes you up, but when you compound things over and over again, it makes it fatal. And it's like with your GPA. How many of you guys have had a bad exam and then you don't fix it going into the next exam? You do the same stuff, the same absentee behavior going into the next exam. How many of you guys have a terrible semester and you say, oh, I'm going to be different, but you aren't actually different. You don't learn anything different. You don't apply anything different. You don't behave any differently than you did before. And what happens? You do the same failure. And that compounded semester after semester of failing, that's what keeps you out of medical school. One bad semester, people like to make up this narrative. Oh, one bad semester kept me out of medical school. No, you didn't get to medical school because you was bad every single semester for 5 freaking years. And it's so funny. I see it on Reddit all the time, all these different forums. People talking about, oh, you have to understand, Dr. Pinesett, I had this really bad semester, and that's why medical schools didn't take me. Oh, you know what? I know how to study, but I had one bad semester, and that's the issue. Or I know how to study, but this teacher, it's like, no, stop making excuses, guys. Recognize that you got an issue and then address it. Because if you stack all of these things, if you ignore the red flags, then what was something that was excusable becomes inexcusable and you don't get into medical school. That's the difference. So in this, like I said, I was there. I had done terrible my first year in college. I was on track to flunk out of college. I was on track to never get into medical school. I could have kept going forward to, oh, that counselor doesn't know what they're talking about. Oh, she's just saying that. She hated on me because I'm black and because I'm poor. And blah, blah. I could have made something of it. I could have said, you know, this is all I can do. This is all I am. I'm a bad student. I'm not capable of going to medical school. But instead, guys, I said no, and I rectified it. I turned it around, and I did this by stopping the spiral. So for many guys, listen to me. You are spiraling. Whether you recognize it or not, you are spiraling. You're on a path that doesn't get you to your higher level, to your success, to your potential. Where does it take you? Down to the bottom. It takes you back to where you've always been. You've got to rise up from that. So we got to stop the spiral. And we do it in 3 steps. Are we ready? Are we ready? In 3 steps. The very first step, guys, is we must own our insufficiency, our inadequacy, our incompetence. We have to own it. It has to be us. Us. And I say all the time on this channel, no excuses, just dominate. And people be like, oh, yeah, he's talking about this and domination. He's angry, whatever. Oh, no excuses. Dr. Price, you don't understand. You're being unsympathetic of what I have to go through and my anguish, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, characters. I am the sympathetic character. So, yes, I sympathize with you. I have heart. Oh, my gosh, you're fighting through. I feel it. I know it. I feel it. I sympathize eternally because I am you. Look in the mirror. We is the same. I've been through it in the depths. I know what that is. But I recognized that I was able to go from there to Stanford Medical School because I gosh darn said, I cannot focus on the reasons why I can't succeed. I have to look at it and say, wait, what is the solution? Not the problem. How do I solve my issues and elevate above them to be successful? How do I get into Stanford Medical School? I had to change the paradigm of my perspective. And that's what I'm telling you guys to do. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming the professor for your failure. Stop blaming circumstance. Stop blaming your family for intruding. Instead, put up boundaries. Own your part in your incompetence and link it. Make it painful. Zach in the house. What is up, man? Please, Zach, can I get a phone call? Can I figure out, are you running the world yet? Or what's going on? Where are we at right now? Good to hear from you, Dijon. What up? Denise, hello. We recognize that we are the problem. And I want you to own it out loud, y'all. And I want you to own it. And I want you to link the pain that you are feeling right now. Instead of, this is what we often do, right? We trivialize the pain, we make it feel better for ourselves. We coddle ourselves by shifting the blame to somebody else. Oh, I failed, but it's not on me because blah, blah, blah. Oh, I can breathe easy. No. I want you guys to own it eternally. I want you to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm flunking out of college because I don't know how to study. I'm flunking out of college because I'm choosing to party instead of go to office hours. I'm flunking out of college because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm making terrible decisions and I'm choosing to be a failure. And it feels awful. It feels terrible. And this is the worst feeling of regret and hatred for myself that I could possibly feel. I could feel no lower. I have been crying at night. I don't want to admit it to people, but I've been crying at night about my performance. I feel it. I know what I am. And I hold myself accountable. I own who I currently am. Once we have now owned it, we have acknowledged it, we can feel the pain, we can see clearly we are the issue, we then must inform and elevate over that. You cannot be different if you do not know different. You cannot act different if you don't know what to action. And so you first must inform yourselves. Too often people make a mistake and say, oh, I'm just going to try harder. I'm just going to go more. More. Nah, y'all. More isn't the answer. Better is the answer. If you do more of your sad, terrible behaviors and actions and uninformed stuff, it's just going to be worse. You're going to dig that. That's that spiral we're talking about. So we're stopping the spiral by what? Getting informed and learning new things. We must have new information that we can work from. And then once we have the information, you learn a study strategy. You learn about the pre-med process and what extracurriculars are important. You learn about time management. You learn about establishing boundaries with your family. Once you learn those things, now we've learned. Now, what do we have to do? This is the huge separator, guys. Listen to me right now. Because there's plenty of people who go watch a video, who read an article, who buy a book, who do whatever, and then don't get the result and they can't figure out why. Because it can't stop at information. It has to be action. And it has to be that informed action in the sense that, hey, I learned something, but whenever I start something, I'm going to suck at it. I'm going to be terrible at it. So therefore, I must do what, y'all? Practice. I must implement. I get informed and then I implement. I get informed and then I implement something into a practice and I work on myself. I develop a skill in that approach. And by doing so, I recognize day one, I'm not going to be great, but I'm going to put that time in. I'm going to steadily get better. And by doing so, y'all, I then, got informed. I then implemented. And then by doing that, I will get better and I'll be able to actually execute at a high level. Because it's not what you know, guys, right? It's what you can action. It's not what you know. Oh yeah, I know I should be reading every day. But yes, how do you get consistent with that reading every day? That's the separator. So we have to get informed and then we have to implement. So important. The third thing, right? So the first thing, we got to own it. Second thing, we got to get informed and we got to implement. And then the third thing, guys, is too many people. If you are broken, can we be real? Can we be honest right now for a second, y'all? If you want some honesty right now, comment honesty in the box. Hey, Dr. P, be real with me. Say be real. Put be real in the box. We are live action, y'all. Dr. Pinesett here. How many times when something bad happens do we attribute it to one thing? Oh, you know what? I failed this class because of blank. You know what? I'm not on track to get to medical school because of blank. My MCAT score because of blank. The truth is, guys, and working with students for over 20 years, I can tell you without a fact, your shortcomings, your issues are not one thing. They are many things. Because our outcomes, you'll hear me say it all the time, straight A's, great MCAT scores are not made in one way and in one day. So one bad day doesn't get you an F, right? Can we be honest? One bad, oh, you know what, I'm just not good at this, doesn't tank your MCAT score. It's how you do everything. It's how you are every single day that's leading to problems. And so what happens is if we're getting serious, if we get to the ownage phase and we're getting informed, a lot of students will recognize they got all these problems. And the amateur way to go at it, the way setting yourself up to continue that spiral is you try to change everything at once. And by doing so, it becomes an overwhelming process. We look at all we must do to be successful, and it's like, ooh, that's too much. I can't do all that today. And we quit on ourselves. So instead, guys, what I want you to do as a third part of the spiral is not do all the things. Don't fix all of your issues. Find the biggest issues. And for this, I'm going to cite a guy I always cite, Gary Kellerman. His book, The One Thing, it's a game changer. Go read it if you have not. And the key question he says we always must ask ourselves is, what's the one thing I can do right now in this moment that makes everything else easier, or even unnecessary? Do you guys hear what I just said? What's the one thing I can do right now that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? So as you look at this list of all your problems, and then you look at the solutions you can implement, which of these can I put in and have the biggest output, right? The 80-20 rule. Can I have the biggest impact and actually negate some of my other shortcomings? And by changing that one thing, we're going to say, listen, for the next week, I'm going to focus on this one thing. I'm going to have one fix instead of trying to fix everything. And what you'll find is you'll then be able to target that one fix. You'll be able to assess that one fix. You'll be able to make that one change. And then once you make that one change, you'll have the momentum to make the other changes. And even small changes can have huge outputs, something I always show my students. It's not about, small tweaks, big changes. We're looking for small areas where we can make minor improvements that make massive results. And so when I teach in my courses, right, my 5 pillars of studying less, get better grades, in my Dominant Premed program, I'm always stressing, hey, when I tell you this, I want you to recognize this is not the one thing that's going to change everything, but by doing this one thing first, it makes everything else easier. And then by stacking all these little things together, these small tweaks, the end result is massive change and success for your life. And that's the way I teach. And so that's what we're going to do here is we're going to build one thing at a time to have that massive change. So again, how do we stop the spiral? One, we own it. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's something like that. That's what Taylor Swift says. I don't know. I hear it all the time in the offices. Taylor Swift. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but I know that song. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. Guess me, or something like that. I don't know. Own it. You're the problem. The second thing, get informed, right? As part of that, once we're informed, we must implement and develop the skill. And the last thing is when we go to implement, one thing at a time, start slow, get the momentum going, and then roll forward. And so for me, this is literally what I did. I owned it. I coined no excuses, just dominate. All this garbage of why, it's always me. I'm the problem. And if I focus on me and my behavior and my actions and my thoughts, I can be successful. And then I did that. Boom, I own it. I'm the problem. Then I got informed. I said, no, I'm not going to learn a little bit. I'm going to learn all this stuff about studying. I'm going to learn all this stuff about the pre-med process. And then I'm going to implement. And I started slow. In the summer, I said, listen, what is the one fix I should implement first? I said, my problem is I am a master procrastinator. Period. I would do anything but study. And how many of you guys are like that? How many of you guys are master procrastinators? Throw it up. Say, master procrastinator, where you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to study right now. I know it. But I'm going to check my phone for like 1 minute, just 1 minute. And then 1 minute turns into 1 hour. Oh, I'm going to start this, but I'm going to go talk to my friend. Oh, it's an important phone call. Oh, I got to go outside. I got to stretch my legs, exercise. Heart disease, right? We'll do anything but what we're supposed to do. And so I recognized that was me. And so that was the first thing I attacked. I said, listen, I asked this question. I ask this question to my students all the time. How much better would your studying be if you just studied when you were supposed to study? Think about that. How much better would your studying be if you just studied when you were supposed to study? If you just got your nose in the book, how much better would you be? If you just showed up to lecture, if you just went to office hours, how much better would your grades be? And so for me, I recognized that was a huge issue. And so I fixed that first. I said, listen, I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to implement some time management strategies. I'm going to implement some mindset strategies, some momentum strategies, and I'm going to launch into studying. And I'm going to do all these things, right? And in my prime reading course, I teach about launch and landing your sessions and doing so forth, but building these rituals. And so I fixed my procrastination. And then you know what? My grades that next semester, kid you not, were so much better. Not straight A's, but so much better with one change. And then I was so excited about the results from that, I started implementing all these other things. And then before you know it, y'all, by the end of next year, I was balling. I was dominating everything. And it felt incredible to make that transition. But it started with owning it, getting informed, implementing, and just implementing one fix. Start with one thing. And DeJohn says, I was a master procrastinator, right? Had you in a chokehold, y'all. How many of y'all getting choked out? Procrastination is like, yeah, you ain't studying every single day. We got to stop that. So find it and fix it. Yes, yes. Julian, what up? Same. It's been a little minute. Everybody, hello. In Spain, Dennis. All right, all right. So thank you guys so much for joining me. We are live action. If you have a question, if you want to talk about something, put it in the box right now. Hopefully it's relevant to this, but put it in the box right now. We're here to be interactive, right? I'm here, y'all, after my work day at the hospital to help you guys be informed. And so this is the first part of this video, this live stream. We're at 20 minutes, but can we go longer? Are you guys with me? Can we hang? All right. So getting to this next part, we have to understand, guys, in your life, in your career, you never know when opportunity is going to strike. And too many students say, oh, I'm just waiting for the right opportunity, and then I'm going to focus on that. Not recognizing once the opportunity is here, it is too late to then get ready. And so you must, as Sugar Free says, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. If you stay ready. You guys know the song. You better know the song. Go Google it right now. Some of you young bucks. Sugar Free. Yes. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. It's so true. And in this Shador Sanders case, right? He goes in, he launches in, he makes all these mistakes in the pre-draft process. He gets into Cleveland, and he's getting fourth string quarterback reps. So very little reps, very little opportunities, but he's practicing, he's weightlifting, he's staying ready, he's practicing, doing the best he can with every single rep, making every single rep count, every moment there count, learning, getting the playbook, all these kind of things. Then all of a sudden, this guy's injured, this guy's injured, this guy's sitting out, this guy's a problem. From fourth string, now you're first string, you're starting the preseason game. And what was funny was leading up to the preseason game, a lot of people were like, oh, the Browns trying to sabotage Shador. He's going to go out there, hasn't had any reps. He's going to go out there and be jacked up. But you know what happened? He went out there and gave a very solid performance, had great completion statistics, looked confident, looked calm, looked like he knew what was going on, what to look for. And then bam, right? He has a successful day. And then now they're talking about, oh, could he compete for the starting job? Will he come in at the year? Will he be able to trade so-and-so? And so it changes all the rhetoric around that. But it doesn't happen unless you're prepared for the moment. Because when opportunity strikes, you have to be ready. And for me in my career, guys, it's something I've always lived by. I recognize that when I got into college, I was kind of shook. I was kind of surprised. I was a terrible high school student. But I got into college, got into UC Irvine, zot, the ferocious anteaters. Yes, we are. And I recognize that I'm here. And, oh, yeah, I'm just going to, go along. And, as things come to me, I'll figure it out. I'll figure this class out. Nope. I have the opportunity to study at a great university and put myself in a position to get into medical school, and I flubbed it because I wasn't prepared for the moment. I hadn't done the work. I was jacked up. And so it taught me I got to stay ready, so I got to get ready. And so throughout my career, I've prided myself on my preparation and not just being prepared, but being over-prepared, prepared for every single scenario. That's the way I approached everything. And it's one of the reasons I chose to become an anesthesiologist, because anesthesia is a cognitive specialty. It's not physical. People talk about, oh yeah, we do a lot of physical stuff and that's cool. But what makes the highest, the 1%ers of anesthesiologists is our ability to think through all of the possible pitfalls and issues with this patient's medical history, with the surgery they want to do, and all the scenarios around it. We have to say, listen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. And then we have to have a plan for dealing with upfront any of these issues and preventing them from happening. And then if they do happen, we have to have strategies for dealing with it. Not one strategy, two strategies, plan B, plan C, plan D. So that way we make sure the patient's alive at the end. And so I love that about anesthesia, because I'm a person who plans everything out. I'm always over prepared. And so as an anesthesiologist, I'm bomb, baby, because it's not a change for me. It's my personality of being over prepared for anything that might happen. Every opportunity, every issue, I'm ready for it. And so when I went through my medical training, I'm in residency, I said to myself, listen, yes, I'm my first year. I'm just starting out. I don't really know much. But every single day, I'm going to suck all the juice out of every single day of residency, so that when I might need something, even on an easy day, I need something, I'm ready to pull it out. And so every single day I set my own learning plan for residency. They had a curriculum, and I was like, no. I got to be ahead of that curriculum. I got to do more than the average bear. I want to be Smokey the Bear, right? Yogi Bear, more than the average bear, something like that. I don't know. I do more. And so I put in my own preparation plan, and every single patient I say, how can I learn for this? What if this didn't happen today? It went smoothly, of course. But what if it didn't go that way? What if they had this heart attack? What if they went into an arrhythmia? What if they started bleeding out? What if the surgeon said this? What if I started running all the scenarios every single day, getting the most learning out of it, right? So that way, as I did that, guys, every single month, I was always ahead of the curve. And so I could show up. I would over prepare. Instead of just like quickly put my patient case together, I would put together all the scenarios. So then when I would call my attending and say, listen, this is my plan for our patient tomorrow, blah, 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 they would ask me a question to try to throw me off, and I would have the answer already because I'd already prepared for it. It wasn't a thing where like they would ask me a question, which often happens. You know, as an attending, I can tell you when I was attending, this would happen. I would ask the resident, well, what if this happens? Ooh, I'm not really sure, but I'll look that up. I'm like, okay, well, look it up and we'll talk about it tomorrow. But I was always the one, when you called me and you asked me that question, I knew the answer because I was already planning it out. I was over prepared for that phone call to discuss our treatment plan. And so in every single block, I was able to show out. And then every single day when I showed up, I was over prepared for the day, and I shot to over deliver. And as a result, you fast forward to the end of my residency, right? All these years of just working, doing my thing, and people recognizing that I'm prepared. Oh, snap. And his patients do well. He's performing. All of these things. I get to the end of my residency, and I get a faculty position at UCSD. I'm teaching the residents and medical students. How does this happen? I didn't apply for the job. I was offered the job because they're like, man, you're the kind of person we want to have around here. A, you know your stuff. B, you're a willing teacher. And C, you're fit. We want that here, right? We want all these things. And so I was offered the position. So I got the position. Cool. Then while I was doing that, I had another physician call me and say, hey, I'm starting up this special anesthesia group, and I have really high standards. I come from a military pilot background, and I'm highly trained. I'm a pediatric cardiac trained anesthesiologist. I am very meticulous. And I remember when you rotated with me, we only worked together, and this is crazy. We only worked together a couple days, like 2 or 3 days in my whole residency. This person remembered me, somehow found my phone number by calling through the phone book. Say, hey, listen, do you have this so-and-so's phone number? Got my phone number, called, and offered me a position that was a great position in this practice because they remembered the work I did years before. And now he was like, listen, but it's pediatric, and it's going to be difficult, and you're going to be by yourself. And I was like, no fear. The opportunity stroke right now. I'm ready because I've been putting in the mental reps, baby. I've been ready for this opportunity. Put me in, coach. All I need is a minute. I'm about to throw for 400 yards in this game. And so I was able to take advantage of the opportunity. And then the opportunity led to me being able to start my own practice and level up. And so at every stage, I'm always over prepared because I'm like, the opportunity might come and I got to be ready. I can't miss my opportunity. And for too many of you guys, you're waiting for opportunity to strike before you start getting ready. Right? Can we be honest? Can we be truthful? Can we be honest and truthful about it? So as you guys, as pre-meds, I want you to understand that it's so important that even though nobody's watching, I want you to know that future opportunity is on the line that day, whether you recognize it or not. And I want you to put in the reps even when nobody's watching. Don't work just because someone's watching you. Work because they might need you. Prepare like tomorrow something's happening. Prepare for the MCAT. I tell all my pre-meds, you should be preparing for the MCAT, not when you are 3 months away from the MCAT, but from the moment you decide I might potentially want to go to medical school, you should be folding in your MCAT prep to your study program for your regular courses. And I teach my students in my MCAT course, right, how to dominate the MCAT without an expensive prep class. I teach students how to fold their MCAT prep and weave it in seamlessly into their undergraduate work. Because I understand that the MCAT is the opportunity in the distant future. But if you don't start preparing right now, you're not going to be ready for it. And better yet, the other side of that is if you start preparing for it now, when it comes up in 3 years, you've got 3 years of prep compared to everyone else's 3 months of prep. And so who's going to perform better? You are. But that's the preparation today, like you need it today, but you need it in the future. And in the end, guys, we recognize, right? We have to stay ready. So if you are going to stay ready, put ready in the box right now. Let me know. Right? As people are talking about right now, the same opportunity never knocks for long. We have to be ready, y'all. When opportunity knocks, you got to be dressed to the nines, right? It's like, you know what I mean? You get a beautiful lady come over just randomly, your neighbor, right? I don't know. She was beautiful. I saw her in the hallway. I don't really know her. I don't have the courage to talk to her, right? But then all of a sudden she knocks on your door. You can't be having Cheeto crustules all over your shirt. You got to be ready, baby. You got to be dressed up. Oh, I'm ready. Let's pop out. Let's go. That's what it requires. That's what it takes. All right. I'll tell you guys a funny story. Can I sidetrack for 1 second? I know we're running long anyway, but it's okay. We're gonna be long anyway. You're gonna be here. You're gonna be here. We're gonna be here. We're gonna be here. Yes. All right. Do I seem fired up today? I'm like sweating. I'm glistening. I've been in here filming additional course materials. I'm always updating my courses and stuff. So I was filming additional course materials. So I'm hot right now because I've been doing 3 hours of coursework before this. So I'm already on a roll because when you're in a room filming by yourself, you got to, spark yourself up. But anyway, my wife, Shannon, she's beautiful. She's amazing, multi-talented, incredible, love of my life, light of my life, all these things. I met her fluke. I wasn't out looking for a lady at that time. I went to my brother's high school basketball game. And I actually, right before that, I used to be a referee for basketball. And so I was coming from referee thing, but I always used to keep a pair of clothes in my car just in case something came up. And so that day I finished reffing. I could have been wearing my dorky ref uniform or whatever. Instead, I put on my nice jeans and my shirt. So I was ready for action. I go in the gym. I see this woman. She's beautiful, stunning, incredible. I see her. And I could have been like, oh no, I got my ref stuff on. I'm not ready. I'm square. But I was fly, y'all. I was looking good. I was ready for the opportunity. And so I approached her so calm, so confident, feeling good. Like, hey girl, can I know you? Will you know me? Can we be together? And then we're together. Almost 20 years later, we here. But it was all because I was ready for the opportunity. I had these clothes in the car so I could come in creased up, looking sharp for the ladies. Preparation, y'all. When preparation meets opportunity, success. Love and marriage. Yes? I hope Shannon's not on here right now. Hopefully she won't comment. She won't tell you guys the true story of how I was fumbling over my words because she was so beautiful and stunned me. I was like, I don't even know how to deal with you. Anyway, next up, as we continue, as we talk about this, stay ready and get ready. I give you guys a personal example with my wife. I was joking about that. I mean, that happened, but that's more of like a joke story. But in the real practical professional space, I talked about how I was ready through my residency and all kinds of things. But one other way that I think it's really important that we can talk about is that I worked in consulting. So I went to undergrad, and when I was an undergrad at UC Irvine, I majored in biochemistry and molecular biology. I also took an interest and a shine to business. And I was like, you know what? It's really handy to learn business. And so I started taking business classes at UC Irvine. I started taking a bunch of them. And the problem was at that time, UC Irvine didn't offer a business major. And so I ended up graduating with a business minor. I wanted more business experience. And so I had the opportunity to choose to go to medical school or to go and get some business training. And so I went on and got a master's degree and started working as a consultant and getting consultant experience in the business world. When I started consulting, I started as an intern. And during my intern time, you're supposed to be just learning, training. You don't really have all these projects. Well, as an intern, I recognized this is my time to learn. And so I soaked up all the learning. And so I went around and I was getting involved and seeing what everybody's projects were and how they did things and looking at how things operated. And so when I'm with this consulting firm, I'm with them all summer. I'm supposed to take the MCAT at the end of the summer. So I'm at the office after hours. It's like 6 or 7 o'clock at night after the office is closed. And I'm getting my MCAT studying in before I drive home. I always teach my students that we front load our studying. So I was getting some MCAT studying in right before I went home. All of a sudden, the CEO pops his head in my little cubby. It wasn't quite an office, it was a cubicle, sticks his head in, and he's like, hey, Andre, you still here? I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. What's going on? And he's like, listen, I know you don't know anything about this project, but I'm going to Northern California tomorrow to meet with the head of insert company, and I need support for this meeting. Can you come with me? And in that moment, I got my MCAT tomorrow. I'm like, take a breath. It's okay. I'll be there. I'll see you in the morning. We're going to fly out. We got it. I call or send an email to reschedule my MCAT. And of course, MCAT's like, we ain't giving your money back. And so I had to pay for the MCAT later, but I rescheduled that. I hop on a plane first thing in the morning. The next morning, we fly up to Northern California. We have this huge client meeting. And in the meeting, I'm able to meaningfully contribute. I'm able to build rapport. And I'm able to interact in the CEO in the way he likes to be interacted with and the way he likes to be presented with. And the way I knew all this stuff was because I was paying attention to how he ran meetings before. I was paying attention to how others who were doing well in the company, the VP and so forth, how they delivered things, how they met with clients. And so I just literally copycatted that. I emulated what they were doing, right? But if I was not paying attention, I wouldn't be able to do it. And by doing so, The meeting went great. We ended up getting the contract. And I'm not saying I was a big part of it, but I felt like I was contributing. And it was reflected in my contributions because this CEO gave me a hefty bonus check when they signed this client. It's not my client. I'm not actually on the project, but I went to this meeting and I contributed in some small way that he felt, man, you helped us get this dollars, so let me give you some dollars. He gave me a nice little bonus check. Took Shannon out to dinner with that, right? Then on top of that, at the end of this experience, I went to apply to medical school. He wrote me an incredible letter of recommendation speaking to my preparedness and my ability to perform under what was a pressure situation in giving a presentation, because I had to give a presentation as part of it, like that I was not prepared for. I had to put it over overnight, and then we fly out and we did it. But that is what happens. That letter of recommendation, that bonus check doesn't happen if I'm not preparing every single day for that opportunity. Additionally, even though I had to reschedule my MCAT, when I rescheduled the MCAT, I got an incredible score and I get in the Stanford Medical School because I was preparing. And so for many of you guys, as you work, as you study, how many times does one fall through the cracks because you're overloaded from all the things you have to do? My studying for MCAT isn't as good as I want to be because I'm distracted with work or I'm distracted with family. You know what? My work's not as good because I'm trying to study. You may be busy, but the important thing is that as we're busy, people make time for what matters to them. And so you have to make time for your own growth and for your own preparation and getting ready and staying ready for opportunity. And so for me, to make this more specifically, I'm going to talk to you guys about my stay ready rhythm. I like systems. I like workflows. I like processes because it allows me to implement, to execute, to refine, and to progress myself and always get better and look at what I'm doing. And so I created the stay ready rhythm to make sure that I'm always over preparing and that I'm executing my growth plan. And so quite simply, it folds into doing something. Stay ready rhythm is very simple. If I want to stay ready for things, every single day, I want to do something that gets me closer to that goal. Every single day, even like 1 minute, just every single day, I want to do something, even a small thing, to get myself ready. The second thing is every week, I want to do something to assess where I'm at and to spend some significant time getting better. So at least once a week, I must spend significant time on my overall goal or on my growth or on something that's far off. Then the third thing is I want to document. I want to have at my disposal the assets needed to be successful in a pinch. This may sound abstract. Let's break it down. I was working consulting. I was working 50, 60, 70-hour work weeks. Very busy, very hectic, very all over the place, very tiring. I'm learning a new thing. I had to make sure I was getting my MCAT prep in. So my daily part of my stay ready rhythm was that I split my MCAT prep. I told myself every single day I got to do at least 2 25-minute blocks. And so I would get up first thing in the morning, before I even brush my teeth, did anything, I would do a 25-minute MCAT block. Then I would take a 10-minute break, and I do another 25-minute block. So it was an hour of time, 25 minutes, 10 off, 25 minutes on, to make sure that every single day before they even started, I got 50 minutes of MCAT in. So now, no matter how far the day gets away from me, I put in some small MCAT time. Yes? And so by having that, my MCAT prep progressed along. For my company, the way I did this was I made sure every single day, during the day, I took time, and my time was like right around 9 a.m. when everyone gets going their day. They've already like kind of set their day up, but they're moving around. I would go to someone's area and I would ask them, hey, what are you working on? What's your approach to this? And I would make that 9 a.m. time a time where I would go around and learn and gain from that position. So that way I'm prepared in that position. Then every week, right? So we have a daily, and then every week I would spend more time. So then every week at the end of my week, my Saturday morning, I would get up and I would do a 90-minute MCAT session. Then I would take 30 to 45 minutes off and I would do another 90-minute prep session. So that way I'm getting 3 hours of sustained MCAT prep every single week on top of my daily practice to really add that oomph on it. And I would assess myself and I would do some questions there and I would make sure that I'm making progress every single week. And then, right, that was that. Then for my job, what I would do is I would start mocking out outlines for how I would do projects. So then in addition to my MCAT studying every Saturday, at the end of the week on Fridays, I would take that week and I would go through all the things I picked up in the week and I would document. And I would say, these are the things I learned, and I would consolidate all that knowledge so that way I was growing in the company. So I was keeping a running log of what was going on in terms of projects, what people were working on, how they like things. I was keeping that up. At the end of every week, I would do a debrief for myself. Then the third thing, as we talk about, is that we have to have this ready repository. We have to have something that we can reference in a time of need. And so for this company I mentioned, I would go through and I would consolidate the week, and then I would actually document that. So I'd have a running document of what was going on, so that way I could reference it really quick. So it's written down. So, oh, in a pinch, oh, how does so-and-so like it? That's how they like it. Boom. For my MCAT, I would spend that into that week. I'd make sure that I would make good, solid notes for that week. How many of you guys make MCAT notes and never consolidate them, never review them? I would make sure at the end of every week that I consolidated and reviewed my notes and brought all that learning together to make sure that that week was fruitful. So that way I can make progress. Yes? Does that make sense to everybody? I want you guys to show me, right? We talk about getting informed and implementing. I want you guys to implement this week. I want you guys to look at your lives and say, wait, what do I need to start preparing for that's in the future that I've been putting off? Like, oh, the MCAT's down the road, applications down the road, oh, this is down the road. What is something that you've been pushing down the road that we can now flip and say, no, I'm going to implement, I'm going to infuse my preparation into my daily life. I want you to identify something. I then want you to pick something every single day that you can do for 20 minutes. Just do 20 minutes a day to work on that. It's simple. You got a lot of minutes in the day, 20 minutes. Then I want you to carve out an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours, one day, every single week where you're going to focus on that and do a deep dive into that and growing yourself. And then I want you, third thing, to pick a time in that week where you're going to assess. And it can be part of that same big work you do, that hour, the 2 hours every week. But I want you to then assess your progress and say, you know what, I'm making progress or I'm not making progress. If you're not making progress, I want you to look for ways how you can start making progress, be more consistent and so forth. And if you are making progress, I want you to document that and say, yeah, I won this week. And by documenting our wins and our progress, guys, how much better are you going to feel? How much less stressed about the future you're going to feel? Because you're like, no, I'm preparing. I'm getting stuff done. I can feel great about the journey that I'm on. This medical journey I'm on to become this great doctor. My future doctor self is being developed every single day and every single week. And I can celebrate that instead of living a life of doubt and uncertainty and questioning whether you're on track for your success. Let's link that and document that every single week. So I want you guys to do that. It's very, very simple, but do that. I want you guys, before we even get to that, I want you guys to commit to doing that. Please, please, please. So can we commit? If you're ready, type stay ready in the comment box, y'all. I'm trying to make these very interactive because I don't want you guys just sitting here looking back and doing whatever. And if you're listening to the podcast later, take a note to yourself, right? Comment in the rating box of the podcast, hey, Dr. Pinesett been making me work and I appreciate it. Whatever it is, put stay ready out there. So I know that some of you guys are out there and you're going to implement, and you're going to make sure that you are ready for opportunity, and we're going to be the shapers of the future. Thank you for commenting. Stay ready in the box, John. I appreciate that. Right? Thank you for the rest of you guys commenting. Yes, ready, stay ready. Yes. I love it. Thank you guys for being here with me and interacting with me and letting me know that you are learning and you are growing as we hit the 43-minute mark. Let's reset it, y'all. I'm Dr. Pinesett. I'm the Premed productivity expert. I'm always here to give you guys what? Productivity and positivity. Always. Those are our P's. Positivity and productivity. You want to be more positive? Come here. If you want to be more productive? Come here. That's what we're trying to do, guys. In a world of negativity and ain't nothing in this, we're going to be something substantial. As we continue on, y'all, and we talk about our journey to overcoming our setbacks, I want you to recognize that this world is filled with hatred, jealousy, negativity, and a million characters who are just waiting to cut you down, who live to tell you you can't do something. Why? Because they can't do something. There are so many people out here. That's why filters are popular, social media. People hate their real selves. People can't stand looking in the real mirror, so they put a filter on it, and their social media feed is flawless, but their life is in shambles. Shambles. And so because of that, guys, what ends up happening is whenever you are succeeding, and even before you succeed, whenever you are trying to succeed, trying to grow, trying to better yourself, you're going to have a bunch of characters who are going to come out the woodwork talking about you ain't nothing. And when we talk about Shador Sanders, this is what has happened. Because leading up to the game, I was like, oh, he's not going to do well, and blah, 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 blah. Then he does well. And instead of saying, you know what, congrats, young man. Because again, these are young people. I'm old now. This guy's like 20 years old, 21 years old. This is a young man in a league full of grown-ass men who went out and had a solid game where he looked competent, where he looked not overwhelmed by the situation. And immediately afterward, instead of saying, listen, great job, young man, on making the most of your opportunity, people instantly say, oh, it's just preseason. Don't mean nothing. 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 No, y'all, nothing is nothing. Everything means something. And so we have to recognize and realize that in your life, as you do things and as you're trying to get better, people are going to try to, listen to me, minimalize, trivialize your work, your outcomes, your success, your potential. They are going to try to dismiss you. They want you to be down on yourself like they're down on their self because they are jealous that they don't have a vision for themselves and they don't have the discipline to execute said vision. That's the truth and the reality. And what happens for you guys, how many of you guys experience this, where you're recognizing you're a flawed person and you're trying to make changes? You know you suck as a student. I knew I was terrible. And I said, I'm going to be better. I'm going to grow. And when I started putting that work in and doing the study, like, oh, it's not going to matter. You don't know. People were so down on me. Oh, you're not going to do it. And then when I started getting good grades, it was so crazy, guys. This is, man, y'all, like, to this moment, right? To this day, right? Like Deontay Waters, to this day, when all this stuff was going down, when I was trying to come back from almost flunking out of college, when I was trying to make my journey, my dream happen, it was incredible how few people were willing to step up and say, hey, Andre, let me help you because I know what I'm doing. Instead, people wanted to mock and assign and label me as the failure, as the incompetent student. Oh, you're never going to get this, man. This is too hard. I mean, there's a bunch of us, we already done this. We know this. We did well in section 1. You're going to get in section 2. Blah, blah, blah. There were so many people who were so quick to tell me what I couldn't do instead of help me do what I could do. And it's one of those things, guys. Again, there's a lot of people who want to hate on you, but there's so many people going to be willing to offer venom to you, but won't offer you the antidote. And when I started succeeding, these same people, when I would get the A, when I would get a good grade, they would see it, right? Because they used to post scores. I don't know if they still do this. Now it's all digital. You guys don't even go to class. But they used to post the scores up on a piece of paper. That's how you figured out what your score was. It's a piece of paper on the wall. It's crazy. And you go up to the piece of paper and you go to find your student ID number, not medical record number, your student ID number, and then you find your test score right there. And then for some classes, they put the actual name on it. And then when they didn't, and it's your student ID number, people who thought you sucked wanted to make themselves feel better. So the first thing they would do is find you, because you're the sucky student, and say, hey, what'd you get? Because they know your score would be terrible and it would make whatever they got feel better. And so people started coming to me, hey, Andre, what'd you get? How bad did you do? I was like, actually, I got 100%. Actually, I got an A. And when it first started happening, they'd be like, oh, you just got lucky. That's just luck. It's not going to happen again. Get you at the midterm, right? And then the second midterm will go well. I'm like, man, it's just a fluke. It's just this class, but you're not going to. And then all of a sudden, I'm stacking every exam. I'm setting that gosh darn curve. Every term, I'm putting in work. I'm being successful, and my GPA is turning around. And then it became a thing where people didn't want to talk to me. They didn't ask me for my scores. They didn't want to hear about it because it hurt that I was whooping their ass every single exam, that I was taking it to it, and I was creating my future. It made them feel good to look at me at less than. But once I became the greatness, they was like, nah, I can't even talk to them. They disappeared. That's the difference, y'all. We have to recognize, I separate none of their, I wouldn't allow them to minimize me. I wouldn't allow them to tell me my work was insignificant because I know my work is significant. I know it. And so I encourage all of you guys to recognize this and do a couple things. One, I want you to work in silence, y'all. Don't announce to other people what you're going to do and how you're getting better and how you're going to achieve. Just achieve it. Just achieve it. Don't post your plans. Oh, yeah, I'm putting in that work. Blah, blah. Post the score. Put your score on these cats. 100%. Eat it. That what I got nothing to say. Keep your receipts, y'all. I'm telling y'all. To to this day, I'm still angry. You hear me right now? I'm angry. I can see faces right now. I can see voices. No, you're not gonna do it. I can see it to this day. Why? Because I keep receipts, y'all. I got a page with every hater in the whole world. Whoever had something, anything, any slight negativity to say towards me, and I would use it in moments where I didn't want to work. I'd pull that gosh darn list out and I'd say, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, oh, Miss Do-a-do, oh, that mother. I would go down this list and I would get fired up. I'd be like, oh yeah, that smug face, that smug face. And I would visualize the smugness they had that day when I was failing. And I would look and I would say, I'm going to work because I want to see the sour look on their face when I can slam my Stanford acceptance in their face. And then when that wasn't enough, when the joy wasn't enough, I would look at that list and say, man, how terrible would I feel if I ever had to re-encounter their smug, superior faces again? Not going to happen. I'm going to work today. And so keep those receipts, y'all. Work in silence and use that hatred, that venom to fuel you, guys. Turn it into, I'm Spider-Man. I was bit by spiders, venom, but then it made me strong. I can sling the webs, save lives. That's what we're doing. The third thing, guys, is we have to recognize as we go through, there's going to be haters, but sometimes your haters are accurate critics. And so what we have to do is take the sting out of their words and instead, like I said, turn into superhuman fuel. And we do this by responding not to the discussion, not to the debate, but to the data. In the sense that, hey, you're a bad student. Yeah, I am a bad student. But then start getting into it and looking at, well, wait a minute, they're a good student. Don't run away from them. Get right to it. So listen, I'm a bad student, but you're a good student. How are you doing it? Put the pressure back on them. Start observing, start stealing from all the top students. This is what I did. I said, yeah, I'm stupid. I'm an F student, but you're an A student. What are you doing? Oh, well, I just know it. And that's what they tell you. Oh, I have a photographic memory. But then what I do, I'm a spy, y'all. I'm secret eye. I'm Jason Bourne on these cats. I'm surveilling them. I'm watching what they do, how they're in class every day, how they're at office hours. I'm listening how they ask questions at office hours. I'm looking at their notes over their shoulder to see how they're doing things. And then I'm implementing for myself. And so don't run away from these haters. Work in silence, keep the receipts, use that venom, and then lean into what these successful people are doing and learn from them. That's the key. And this came to a head recently. I'll say this story for a second right here. But as you guys go through medical training, if you guys still with me, let's take a second. If you guys still with me, like the video right now, let me know you guys still here with me. And then we'll talk about this story. I had a student. For many of you guys, the medical journey is very, very hard. It's a very, very difficult journey because it's filled with always being at the bottom of the totem pole. Every single year, every single rung, as you move through your journey, as a pre-med, as a grad student, as a medical student, as an intern, as a resident, as a new attending, through all the rungs, you're always at the bottom of the ladder. You're always learning something new. That's why they call it the lifelong learning journey, right, of medicine and all that kind of stuff. And so as part of that process, you're constantly going to be in a position where you don't know the most and you aren't the most competent. And so what you have to get very comfortable with is recognizing that you are on this journey to becoming the doctor you want to be. And that journey to becoming the doctor you want to be never stops, never ends, and you're always looking for ways to get better. The problem is so many students are too prideful on their current performance and they shy away from betterment and opportunities to get better. And so when they see someone that's better than them in their medical journey, oh, this intern is doing this stuff, this resident's doing this, they run away. And I had a student recently who did poor in undergrad. We worked really hard to get her studying together, to get her application stuff together, to get her resume together. We applied, she got into medical school. She then got into a low-tier medical school, but then she was able to work hard there using the stuff we had talked about and touched on, using my Dominate Med School course, and got herself into an Ivy League residency. And then goes to this Ivy League residency and goes in intern year, and I don't hear from her. I assume it's going great. I get a call at the end of intern year letting me know that she's having to remediate part of the intern year. And I'm like, wait, what? You? What's going on here? And here come the excuses. She didn't own it. She gives me excuses. She says there were a lot of people in her intern year who had already done a previous intern year, or who were already a doctor somewhere else and now are retraining because she's in a competitive specialty. And she said because of that, they already knew what to do, and so they looked better than her. And I said, stop. If you're in medical training, it's okay that you suck and they're all experienced doctors. But my question to you is what did you do to get on their level? And she said, what do you mean? I said, if you identified that they were doing all the right things and they had all this background and they were ahead of you, how did you try to level up and meet them? And she said, well, I didn't want them to know that I didn't know what I was doing. So I said, what do you mean? What did you do? She said, well, I just kind of just hung back. And I just did my thing and I just kept going. And I said, what? You recognize you aren't the same as them. And instead of emulating, instead of copying, instead of going to them and figuring out how to level up, you said, I'm going to go this on my own and blaze my own path. And the end consequence is you don't evolve because you can't become that with which you hate or envy. And so if you are envious, if you feel like, they got this leg up and I'm angry about it, then how can you expect to become that greatness? You shied away from it and you sabotaged yourself. And I said, you are way too smart, way too much of a go-getter to have this happen. This is not you. And she's like, that's funny because that's what my program director said. I'm like, your program director has expressed disappointment in you, not for your competency, but for your lack of taking action and leveling up to be your greatness. Think about that. And so as you guys are students, as you guys are pre-med, as you guys are medical trainees, recognize there's going to be people who are better than you. There should be. You need to go to those people. You need to observe those people. Medicine is about emulating what you see. When you go do clinical shadowing, when you have clinical encounters, clinical experience, you're there to copy them, right? It's like when I was a kid growing up, you would, Michael Jordan, right? You're like, oh, Kobe fadeaway, right? You were copying your favorite player's moves, right? You were copying. That's what you're doing in medicine. Copy the ballers, y'all. You see who's a medical superstar, copy what they're doing. Take a piece of what they're doing, pick a piece of what they're doing, and bring all those together to be a super clinician. Don't shy away from the learning opportunity. And if you do that, guys, you're going to level up in ways, and man, it's going to be incredible. You're going to be your greatness, and you're going to go. So we don't trip off people trying to hate on us. We don't trip off ourselves trying to hate on us. Instead, we elevate. We go beyond, right? We use this playbook. We work in silence. We keep the receipts, and then we lean in to see what those people are doing that are excellent and that are ahead of us and that are leaders in our field or our chosen path. Yes? Do we get it? Yes, yes, yes. Put haters in the box if you recognize there's some haters out here, including yourself, and you're done with all that and you're ready to rise above it and to fix it and to use this playbook to elevate beyond it. Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right. We're at an hour. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep charging. Let's do this. Let's do this. The last thing I want to say is, in your life, guys, because there's going to be haters, because you're going to have setbacks, because everything's not going to be perfect, it's fundamental to success to understand the difference between confidence and cockiness. Shador Sanders botched the pre-draft process. But as part of that, what was bundled up in this is that he was using this legendary branding. And he had the hats lined up and the lights, and he was doing all this glam stuff. And people were upset saying, oh, this guy is so cocky, he's so arrogant, he's so whatever, blah, blah, blah. And what they failed to recognize is it wasn't cockiness, it was confidence. And so for me, a lot of people call me cocky and arrogant and all these negative things when they don't recognize, y'all, that what they perceive as cockiness and arrogance is actually the confidence that allowed me to become the greatness you see in front of you. Because make no mistake, it's not cockiness, it's self-assured, reality-based confidence that I am greatness right in front of your screen. I've achieved all my goals. Stanford Medical School, become the doctor, become the anesthesiologist, top anesthesia program, become the attending, have my own practice, work with students every day, have my website where I have coaches, coaching, courses, all for these students where I work with them personally to elevate them. I'm making a difference for patients and for students in pre-meds. That was my mission, and I'm doing it every single day. So make no mistake, greatness is here. As I say that, for too many of your students, if you guys as students in pre-meds, you're taught to be humble. Humble yourselves and da-da-da-da. And while I'm all for expressing humbleness outwardly, I'm all for being confident inside, right? Talk about quiet confidence. It's so important. I'm here today successful because I am so confident. Because when things go terrible, when someone hates on me, I'm not just, oh, I believe in myself. I'm like, I believe in myself. And my confidence is so strong, it is so ever present, it is unshakable. You cannot shake me, break me. I am confident to the max. And the reason that I'm so confident and I can believe in myself every single day through all the things and the storms and the people that come along is because my confidence, and this is the key, is not based in who I am today and what I'm capable of today. I don't believe I can be president today, but I believe I can be president. I wouldn't want to be, but I believe I can be president. Not because of who I am today, but because I'm confident in my willingness, in my drive, in the unrelenting work ethic I have to embrace and become my fullest potential and to become excellent. Do you understand what I'm saying right now? I am 110% sure, like I'm Maury. I'm 110% Maury. I am not the father. I'm 110% sure that I will always succeed in the end, maybe not today, but in the end, because I'm willing to work through all adversity, all setback, all obstacle to achieve my goals. I see all of these things, these roadblocks, these hurdles, these haters, I see it all as excuses. I see it all as fluff. I will just dominate. No excuses, just dominate. You cannot shake me. My belief isn't like feel good, happy, joy vibes. I can do anything, believe to achieve. That's garbage. When people say, oh, all you can do is believe and you can achieve. No. You have to believe that you can do the work. And if you believe unflinchingly that you can do the work and you're willing to do that work, then you succeed. So my belief isn't about vibing and whatever. It's not about rhetoric. It's about reps. My belief that I will out-rep anybody who want it. I will outwork you. I will work harder than you. I will work longer than you. Whatever it takes, I will do to succeed. The second component of my confidence is built on the precedent that I will become competent. Listen to me. The first part is I'm willing to do the hard, dirty work. But the other part is that I know that all the information I need to succeed is out there, and all I have to do is go get that. And I can become my competent self. I can become the informed person. And once I'm informed, I can then achieve. Does that make sense? So my confidence is built on reps and my belief that I can do the work, my willingness to work, and it's built on the fact that I know that the competence is out there. I just got to go get it. And so by having the willingness to work really hard, but having the understanding that working smart is the key, I'm able to work smart. And so therefore I'm efficient, but I never quit. And so as students, you guys have to recognize premeds, you want to get to medical school, you want to become a doctor, one of those things, you have to be willing to do the grind, to do the years, to do all the things that people say suck about medicine. And at the same time, you have to look for ways always to get more competent, to get more efficient, so that way you can work smart and outsmart the system and make it so that you can be efficient, be effective, be consistent, and get the outcomes. So my confidence is in the fact that I'm willing to do the work, that I have put in the reps, and that I can get competent to make those reps less hard, less difficult, and a higher effectiveness. All of it comes together, and I cannot fail. There is nothing that can stop me in this whole world, y'all. And I make this real every single day, and I want you guys to do this for yourselves. Right? Because again, I'm always trying to teach you guys, right? We talk about positivity, productivity, but it's about practical. So there's 3 P's: positivity, productivity, and practicality. We have to implement, we have to execute, right? So for you guys, the simple way to start building this confidence, because you might not have the outcomes right now, you might not have the age, you might not have the doctorate right behind the MD behind your name. You might not be board certified like I am. But we can have complete confidence that we can get there. And we do this by linking our belief, our confidence in ourselves, our self-worth, not to the outcome, not to the product, not to what we want to become, but to the process of becoming it. Tie your belief to the process. What does that mean? You might be studying for the MCAT. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I can get 512, I can get 515, I can get 520, that's the outcome. But how do I know today I'm doing that? We tie it to the process of that outcome. So we say, I believe I can score 520, ... because I complete 2 timed blocks every single day. And every single time, right? So that's the big general thing I'm doing. And let's go even deeper. And when I do these blocks, I'm doing them focused on learning even deeper. What do I mean by that? I'm sucking all the juice out of every single question, looking at not just did I get the answer, but looking at, so not just my content, but also my test taking capability. Then when I do this, right, even deeper, I'm going to be taking an effective note that brings together not just this question, but with all the things that surround this in terms of topics related to this, so I can have consolidated, high-level, deep, well-rounded, versatile, effective MCAT notes. And I will not quit on myself. I don't have to have 512 a day. Every single day, I'm going to show up and I'm going to work. And so every single day, I say that line to me, hey, I'm going to score 520 because I'm going to do 2 time blocks. And those blocks, I'm going to suck all the juice out because I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I can say it in one big sentence to myself every single day. And at the end of the day, this is where it's powerful. We say it and it's just empty words. But then at the end of the day, we validate it because we did that statement. And so by carrying out the process that we know will lead to the outcome and validating that process every single day, we create daily confidence, daily momentum, daily motivation, whatever you want to call it, to propel ourselves to the outcome. Does that make sense? So I can be sure, right? If it's 10 steps, if the store is a mile from here, right? Let's be easier. If it's 10 steps to the fridge, and I want to make sure I can get to the fridge, I got to know that I'm going to be able to take 10 steps. Well, let's map the steps out. Okay, 10 steps. Okay, if I got 10 days, I take 1 step per day. I'm there in 10 days. Yes, there's confidence in that. And so it's the same way we do with our MCAT, with our pre-med journey, with our classes. It's not all in one day. Lay out the process for the outcome that you want. And if you can lay that process out and you can see that pathway to success, you remove uncertainty, you boost confidence and assuredness that you can achieve it, and bam, you'll have unflinching confidence in yourself and your ability. That's how you create and craft belief, recognizing the importance of the self-belief for you achieving. It's not just believe and achieve, it's belief and then working to achieve, to accomplish, to manifest that outcome. Yes, yes? Whew. Hour and 7 minutes, y'all. Who is still gosh darn with me right now? If you are here, I will take 5 minutes-ish of questions. If you have a question, if you have a concern, if you have a comment, you want to say something, put it in the box right now, and I will give you some feedback. We will get some, right? We want to progress. We want the outcome. So let's push it forward. As I wait for your questions, Kais, what up? As I wait for your questions, let's recap what we're talking about. Recognizing that just like Shador Sanders, guys, 1 mistake or 2 mistakes or 3 mistakes or 5 mistakes or a whole world of what we consider a world-ending mistake doesn't have to be permanent as long as we don't compound it. And so the way to stop compounding it and to make that failure fleeting instead of final is that we have to own it and recognize that a mistake, it's not over, it's not destiny, it's not who we are, it's who we are currently, but not who we could be. So we own it, and then we make moves to get informed and to implement and to practice, to elevate. And then we don't stop until we get there, guys. We keep going. We keep going. We keep working continually. And by doing that, guys, we level up, we level up, we level up, we never stop. And then in the end, we're successful. So don't be defeated, guys. Be inspired, be motivated to be better than you were yesterday. The better you are today, get better. Yes? We got a question here. It says, in your opinion, is it worth doing a thesis-based MD degree after an MBBS degree? So let let's see, what was this? In Spain, the MBS is the primary medical qualification designed, blah, blah, blah. So that's out of the scope of what we talk about here on this channel because we're talking about European MD pathways and practicing abroad. I talk to US med school. So let's talk about the US pathway. So I'll flip this question. So one of the questions that's frequently asked is it worthwhile to go do a master's degree before you go to medical school? And my response to this, as in all my responses to things, is layered and predicated on what's the input to understand the output. And so everybody's circumstance is different, but we have to have principles for addressing it. And so when we talk about becoming a physician, if your ultimate goal is to become a physician, you should try to get there as quickly as you can. So any deviation from the standard pathway to get to medical school is a waste of time and energy and money because you're losing out on revenue generating years. You're taking longer to get to become a medicine. There's less patients you can impact and so forth. And so we want to get our medical degree and get to practicing as fast as we can. If you have setbacks, if you have stumbles, then we detour and do whatever. But we should never choose to slow our progress towards becoming a physician if we don't have to. And so when we talk about a master's program, the only time, right? So if we set the argument up or the discussion up in that way, what do you think then I would say about doing a master's before medical school? I would say that you should only do a master's program if you have a clear ideal and understanding of how that master's degree fits in to your future medical career. If we say that, then in some cases, people are doing a master's program because they want to improve their academic standing and show medical schools that they're academically qualified. I call it academic aptitude. So you're using this master's program to undo some of the trauma you've done to your GPA and show medical schools that you are competent. Cool, that's a valid pathway. Maybe you're doing the master's program because you're like, you know what? In addition to practicing medicine, I also want to have business information, like me. And so you go get a business master so you can learn the business side. Hey, you know what? In addition to practicing medicine, I also want to be able to work in the public health space and work in politics and so forth and shape policy. So I'm going to get a master's in public health. That's valid. But if that's not you, why take the time and go get a master's in public health if you don't have no interest in working in policy? If you have no interest in working in policy, what's the point of going into a master's in biology? You're not going to be a biologist. You're going to go be a doctor. So you only do it, right? Those two things. One, if you need to make up your grades. And the second thing is if you have a clear idea of how it's going to fit into your future career in terms of shaping the type of physician life you're going to live. If you can't do that, then don't do the master's. Yes. All right. DeJohn says, let me get my bag up so I can pick up all these gems being dropped. I appreciate that, y'all. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Hour and 12 minutes. I'm Dr. Andre Pinesett. I'm always here. Positivity, productivity. If you want to be more positive in your life, you want to have the right mindset, in my perspective. If you want to have more positive outcomes because you're more productive, this is the place you come, guys. And the ultimate in positivity and productivity, if you want to just, blow your world, just everything, get to my website, premedproductivity.com. Get into one of my courses. Get into one of my coaching programs. I don't have anybody else teaching. It's me. If you like me, we live action right now, and you want more of this, and you want me to speak to you directly and coach you directly, get to my website, y'all, and get with me. I'm here. I'm available every single week. We have live action coaching. We do 3 hours every single week. It's crazy. I'm here for you guys. I appreciate y'all. Everybody have a wonderful, fantastic. Did I get one more question right here at the end? Okay, I'll answer one more question, then I'm leaving. This is it. KKO says, do postbacks look bad to medical schools? I didn't really do well in undergrad because of things like imposter syndrome, working, social anxiety, and the high school. I've learned a lot. Okay, that's common. KKO, I appreciate your comment. So do postbacks look bad to medical school? I'll flip the question on you. Do you think if you have bad grades in undergrad that doing more work after undergrad academically is going to look bad to medical schools? No, it can't look worse than what you did to undergrad. But with postbacks, there's a lot of traps people fall into. And I have like maybe a handful, maybe 10 videos talking about postback programs, talking about the pitfalls, talking about opportunities for success, how to prepare for postbacks. I have videos on postbacks versus master's degrees. I have all these things. Please get to my YouTube channel. Please check out the videos on my channel. I have a lot of detail about that. But in short, what I'll say for you is, one, I appreciate you pointing out some of the things that were against you, your imposter syndrome, your working, your social anxiety, your high school you went to that didn't prepare you, all these things, you made mistakes. And I appreciate the fact that you're saying, listen, I want to get better. Please help me, show me the next pathway. And I've been thinking about postbacks, but I need some information so I can implement. And what I'll tell you is never ever feel bad about improving yourself, as we talked about here. Do the work that's required for you to get ready for your opportunity. And when it comes to post-bac programs, if you have messed up your undergrad, go do a post-bac program, go fix it. As I talk about that, when we talk about post-bac, it just means you're doing work after your degree. There are numerous ways to improve your GPA and show medical schools that you are ready and to stand out to medical schools. And so what you need to do is look at what's the best scenario for you. Does it mean going to community college, taking community college classes? Does it mean going to another college and enrolling and taking classes there? Does it mean going and getting a master's? Does it mean going to do a special master's? Does it mean going to do a formal post-bac program, which is different and distinct? What does that mean to you? And then you find the best route that works for you on multiple levels. And I won't get into specifics here because we have another video on that. But the first thing is your timeline. The second thing is the finances of it. What can you afford to do? And the third thing is, right, what do you have the proficiency and the drive to do? And what environment will you thrive in the most? And if you can find those things, align those things, you'll be fine. You'll stand out to medical schools and you'll get in. And I have plenty of students I've worked with who have done great improvement and repaired their GPAs, whether it be a post-bac or whatever program, but we find what's right for them. And then this is the important thing, I inform them, I educate them, I refine their approach. Because if you got bad grades, as you pointed out, it's a lot of different things. So we have to fix your imposter syndrome. Why? Right? Because we can't let that keep knocking us down because it's going to be next level hard. So what do I have? I have my successful student mindset makeover. So we abolish imposter syndrome forever. Talk about working. All right. Well, if you're working, that means you're time limited, and therefore time management is crucial. And we have to figure out how we can study efficiently when we study so we can study less and get better grades, and also how to manage our time to balance all the things. Well, I teach all that in my 5 pillars of studying less and getting better grades program. Right? You talk about social anxiety and talk about the high school lack of preparedness. Again, that's where all these programs come in, is that I'm giving you everything you need to level up and be that student in that post-bac program. And I've had students who were applied to a post-bac program, got in a post-bac program, and then reached out to me right for the post-bac program. Like, hey, listen, I'm really nervous about this. And they get into my program, my study program, and then next thing you know, they're straight A students in the post-bac program. And actually, Dijon's on right now, right? People who are on here right now are some of these post-bac students, but I have numerous I can think of off the top of my head who like, dang, Dr. Pinesett, straight A's on a post-bac program. I'm smoking it. I'm having a great time. I'm networking. I'm doing all these things that we talked about and we game plan for. I'm making most of this opportunity, and I feel confident I'm getting to medical school. And then what happens? They get into medical school. And so that's what I would say to you. And I hope all that made sense in that quick little minute there. But post-bacs don't make you look bad unless you are bad in those post-bacs because you didn't fix what the problem was in undergrad. Fix it, elevate, execute, get into medical school. Bam. Now I'm out of here. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful day. Like I said, get with me, get at me. We're going to be on here. Enjoy it. Soak it up. Thank you guys so much. See you guys next time. How do we always end? No excuses. Just dominate. No excuses, guys. You can come back. You can become your greatness. You can dominate. Get to it. Get to work. Let's go.
That's it for another episode of the Premed Productivity Podcast. Show your love by smashing the like button and commenting in the box below. Today is the day, guys. No more excuses, no more complaining. You're going to take your future into your own hands. You're going to dominate. You're going to be successful. I challenge you. What are you going to do today to make your life better? Get to my website, premedproductivity.com. Grab a free ebook, sign up for a free webinar, and if you're really ready to transform, enroll in one of my life-changing courses or coaching programs. You have greatness inside you. Let me show you how to unlock it so you can dominate and make your dreams a reality. No excuses, just dominate.